At some point, your heart is going to stop. Most people imagine that moment as a fade to black, a light switching off. Silence? The science tells a different story. In the seconds after the heart stops, your brain doesn't simply shut down. It does something closer to the opposite. For a brief window, parts of it appear to surge. So what's actually happening inside your head when you die? In 2013, neuroscientist Jimo Borjigin and her team recorded brain activity in rats during cardiac arrest. What they found surprised the entire field. In the first 30 seconds after the heart stopped, several measures of brain activity spiked higher than during a normal, healthy waking state. Brainwave patterns associated with conscious awareness and visual processing didn't fade out. They intensified. This wasn't supposed to happen. A brain starved of oxygen should be shutting down, not lighting up. Researchers now believe this surge may explain something people have described for centuries: near-death experiences, the sensation of bright light, vivid memories, a feeling of clarity beyond ordinary waking life. Here's the part that should stop you. This isn't mysticism, it's electricity, behaving in a way scientists are only beginning to understand. In 2022, a separate case offered a rare human glimpse into this process. Researchers led by Raul Vicente recorded continuous brain activity from a dying patient using EEG, originally placed to monitor seizures. In the 30 seconds surrounding the patient's death, they detected a burst of gamma wave activity, the same type of brainwave linked to memory recall and dreaming, concentrated in a region of the brain associated with conscious experience. One recording, one patient, not proof of anything universal, but a real, measured signal at the exact moment a human brain was dying. So why would a dying brain do this at all? One leading idea involves a kind of biological last resort. As oxygen disappears, brain cells lose the ability to maintain their normal electrical balance. Some researchers propose that this breakdown briefly removes certain inhibitory signals, the brain's usual brakes, allowing regions that are normally kept quiet to fire freely all at once. In other words, the brain in its final moments might not be dying gracefully. It might be losing control of itself in a way that happens to look, from the inside, like vivid experience. This still leaves an unsettling question. If a burst of activity happens in the brain at death, does that mean the brain is doing something at the moment? Most people assume nothing is happening at all. Researchers are careful here, and you should be too. A spike in electrical activity is not the same as a thought, a memory, or an experience. Scientists are measuring voltage and rhythm. What that voltage feels like, if it feels like anything, remains outside what an EEG can tell you. But here's the genuinely strange part. The boundary between life and death isn't a single moment. It isn't a line. Cardiologists and resuscitation researchers, including physician Sam Parnia, have argued that death is better understood as a process, not an instant. Cells throughout the body don't all die at once. The brain, the heart, and other organs each follow their own timeline of decline, and in some documented cases, brain activity and even consciousness have returned minutes after the heart stopped, during resuscitation, with patients later recalling awareness during a period when they were clinically without a pulse. That single fact rewrites a lot of what people assume about the moment of death. There may not be one switch. There may be a window, sometimes longer than expected, where the line between gone and not gone is far blurrier than a flatline suggests. It's worth asking why this surprised researchers so much in the first place. For most of modern medicine, death was treated as binary. The heart stops, blood stops moving, oxygen runs out, and everything shuts down in sequence, fast and final. Doctors were trained to think of the moment of cardiac arrest as the end of the story, with only a short rescue window before that ending became permanent and irreversible. What the EEG recordings complicate is the idea that the ending is silent. If anything, the data suggests the opposite. The final moments may be louder, electrically, than ordinary consciousness ever is. A brain that spends its entire life moderating its own activity, keeping certain signals quiet so you can think clearly, may lose that moderation all at once, right at the end, and produce a final, unfiltered burst before truly going dark. There's a reason this research connects with so many people who've never set foot in a lab. Surveys of cardiac arrest survivors describe surprisingly consistent themes: a sense of detachment from the body, vivid recollection, sometimes of entire life events in rapid sequence, an unusual feeling of clarity or calm. For a long time, these AC